Hi class, my name is Alejandra Campos, and this is the topic that I'm going to be presenting today. Are insecure attachment styles related to risky sexual behavior? So you might be asking why this topic. I work at a group home that houses teenagers ages 11 through 17 and those who are 18 and over who qualify for our program. We are basically like a homeless shelter. Many of the clients that we house partake in very risky sexual behaviors. A lot of them are part of the CSEC community, which is sex trafficking, unfortunately. Um, so yeah, we will always have clients who um are involved in some kind of risky sexual behaviors, either against their will or by choice. This research gave me insight on why these sexual behaviors can occur, since it relates to our attachment styles and those who do willingly partake in risky sexual behaviors. It has to do with their attachment styles, usually. Okay, so this topic, it's important. So there are various reasons why research on attachment style and sexual behavior is relevant, and here are some. First reason, understanding relationship dynamics. Relationship formation and maintenance, particularly romantic and sexual ones, are definitely influenced by an individual's attachment style. Next reason is informing sexual health interventions. So, sexual health interventions can be informed by research on attachment style and sexual behaviors, which emphasizes the value of emotional connection, effective communication, and mutual respect in sexual interactions. Interventions that are customized to each person's attachment style can have a greater impact on enhancing sexual health and well being. Okay, so I think that at this point, everybody probably knows the attachment styles, but here's my take on them. So for the first one, we have secure attachment. Those who are secure in attachment think well of both themselves and other people. They are generally able to trust people. They communicate their requirements and what they need, and they ask for help when they need it. They also feel at ease in intimate situations. These type of people enjoy well-balanced relationships that are marked by communication, respect for one another, and emotional support. So this is usually the style that people tend to want to be, just because it's very healthy um, for our mental health and well-being. The next one is anxious, preoccupied attachment. So those who suffer from this kind of attachment frequently have a poor self-perception, but a positive one for other people. They usually rely on other people for approval and comfort. They're extremely worried about being rejected or abandoned and react emotionally to lots of interpersonal situations. Individuals that have this attachment type can be overly attached, feel insecure, envious, jealous, and struggle to control their emotions in social situations. Next attachment style is dismissive avoidant attachment. So people who exhibit this attachment style have a positive self-perception, but a negative one towards other people. So they tend to repress their feelings and shun away from intimate connections in favor of independence and self-reliance. This attachment type is characterized by an emotional detachment, difficulties showing intimacy or vulnerability, and they also have a preference for autonomy over connection in interpersonal relationships. Last but not least, we have fearful avoidant attachment. They have a negative perception of themselves and other people. Um, this attachment style can result in ambivalence and fear in relationships as a result of competing needs for independence and closeness. They might battle with intimacy, trust, emotional control, and alternating between wanting and not wanting connection in a relationship. Did you know that according to research, people's attachment styles in adult relationships are a major factor in their decision making when it comes to safe and dangerous sexual behaviors, particularly when those actions combine both emotional and physical intimacy. People who have poor self perception, such as believing that they are undeserving of love, experience anxiety when it comes to relationships, and they prioritize maintaining their bonds. They also score higher on anxious attachment. When it comes to making sexual decisions, these people typically prioritize the wants and interests of their partner over their own health issues and their wants and needs because they feel that they are less deserving of love and respect. And again, they're afraid of abandonment and rejection. Previous research has indicated that anxiously attached people are hesitant to bring up the topic of safer sex in order to lessen the possibility of maybe endangering their relationship in the future because they fear rejection if they insist on wearing condoms or having just any say in what goes on. It's so sad, right? So for this study, here's a little bit about the participants. In order to determine the circumstances in which the attachment dimensions are somewhat associated with risky sexual behaviors, researchers looked at the at-risk demographic and age as important moderators that can explain the varying impact sizes. Okay, and now for the method. So, in line with the assertion made by Kershaw et al. In 2007, that recent studies suggest that romantic attachment is best conceptualized as two separate continuous underlying dimensions, avoidance and anxiety, rather than discrete attachment styles. The two-dimensional approach to adult attachment styles was chosen as the main focus of this meta-analysis. This allowed for the acquisition of distinct effect size estimates about the associations between the hazardous sexual behaviors and the attachment characteristics, anxiety and avoidance attachments. In February 2008, PsycInfo and Web of Science were searched using the following keywords: attachment and safe sex, or sexual risk, or risky sex, or condom. Condom was put in there to take condomless sex and condom use into consideration. A comparable search was conducted using Google Scholar. So these three databases we all know are where you can find scholarly articles. Assessing the frequency of having casual sex, the number of sexual partners, and whether or not to wear a condom during the most recent experience were among the options. Following the elimination of redundant research and studies that failed to meet the inclusion requirements, 122 full-text articles were retrieved and their eligibility was assessed. The following criteria were used to weed out studies. So to weed out any studies, they use qualitative measures only. They use irrelevant measures of attachment, like categorical. They lacked a measure of a risky sexual behavior of interest. They did not test the associations between attachment and risky sexual behavior, or they treated attachment as a dispositional dimension rather than as a concept of emotional intimacy in the context of child-parent relationships, peer relationships, attachment to a particular group or organization, like the gay community in school, or sometimes just an overall concept of emotional intimacy, not as in an adult romantic attachment domain. And here were the results. So there was a correlation between having several sexual partners and avoidant and attachment styles. That link was found in 7 studies. It was proposed that there might be 2 more research missing to fill the left of mean regarding the link between attachment anxiety and condomless sex, and that there might be 4 studies missing to the left of the mean evaluating the association between attachment avoidance and condomless sex. This study is significant because it established that avoidance and anxiety, the two attachment characteristics that this focused on, are equally important in predicting risky sexual behaviors, and that one does not predominate over the other. Adult attachment styles may be a useful predictor of a person's propensity for risky sexual activity. So here's a little bit of my take of this study. So the study revealed minor but very interesting correlations between several sexual partners and attachment anxiety, multiple sexual partners and attachment avoidance, and condom-free sex and attachment anxiety. This supports the theory that people who are insecurely attached, particularly those with elevated anxiety attachment scores, participate in more risky sexual activities compared to those with securely attachments. I thought it was so interesting that the findings of this research article could also be an important factor to be considered in HIV prevention programs that target at-risk population. You can read more about that in the discussion portion of the article. But yeah, I thought it was really cool that attachment styles could help in the HIV prevention programs. So here are the discussion questions that I came up with. Number one, how do you think different attachment styles influence a person's attitude toward intimate and sexual relationships? Number two, do you think that having an understanding of attachment theory and attachment styles could improve treatments and programs for sexual education that are meant to support consent, sexual behavior, and positive relationship dynamics? And how? And then number three, do you think that your attachment style affects your sex life and how? This is the citation. If you guys want to look more into this article. And then here's the link. And that'll be it for me. Thank you guys.